Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be loved so unconditionally that even your mistakes were celebrated as art? That's what I thought Edward James did for his wife, until I dug a little deeper. My introduction to this particular love story took place in the form of a meme I saw online. This one is a tweet by Fox Tosser. A little love story. Edward James, patron of the Surrealists, was so besotted with his wife, the dancer Tilly Losch, that when he saw the trail of wet footprints she left up the stairs after her bath at Monkton House, he had them woven into the carpet. So my first reaction to this was to be moved. That was so incredibly beautiful. Like, it makes you almost want to cry, right? But within seconds, I was sad. Really, really sad. And I'll tell you why. I've been with my husband for 13 years now. We met at a really curious time in my life. I had just moved cross country because I had a great group of friends, and I wasn't actually even dating my husband at the time. We were friends for about a year, actually. We were both dating other people when we first met. He was like, and Justin, my husband, was my best friend. It was really funny. We would actually complain about the people we were dating, or I was dating this guy and he kept ignoring me. So I was chatting with Justin about that. And he was having trouble getting closer to this girl he was dating. And so he was trying to reach out and he wanted to write her a love letter. I actually worked with Justin. We workshopped the love letter. I was a writer and a romantic, and I helped him write this love letter to somebody else. And it was really funny because I thought he was attractive and he thought I was attractive too, but I thought he was a little boring and he thought I was crazy. And so we kind of looked past each other. But then I kind of realized that I only thought he was boring because he kept saying the things that I was already thinking. And I was like, wait, no, he's not boring. I'm kind of weird. We're both weird. We're weird in the same way. He's actually a really interesting guy. And we communicated really well. And he realized that even though I was colorful and very funny and had a lot of qualities that he associated with being erratic, that I wasn't, that I was very reliable and that I was consistent, that I was always there for him when he needed someone. Frankly, he had gotten a headache, he got a migraine when he was working on another friend's house doing some DIY for them for free, and they were like really ticked off at him, which I thought was really weird because he was doing them a favor. He had to cancel because he had a migraine. And I found out about it because they were all ticked off about it, and I am the only person that checked on him and made sure he was okay. And so he was like, well, she's actually very reliable. She's very caring. There's a substance there. So we reversed course on each other, and it was actually Justin. I think I was talking about the guy I was dating. I was saying that, I wasn't really sure about his feelings for me because he would say he loved me, but then he just wouldn't talk to me. It was very odd. This guy was very inconsistent. And Justin said, well, for what it's worth, you have my love. And he kind of put it out there. And I was like, And he's just like, I love you. And we weren't even dating. We were still friends. But yeah, Justin fell first and the planets aligned. All these other people that weren't treating us well ended up not being a picture, and we started dating. And it was really wonderful. It was so intense. It was magical. It was fantastic falling in love with my best friend. I remember I'd been thinking I loved him so much as a friend and as a stable presence in my life that if things weren't physically lining up, that I was willing to work through it because the underlying friendship was so good. And then we got together and then the physical stuff was off the charts. Like, it was the best. So it's like, oh my goodness, what is this? And we both fell so hard, so fast, and we ended up getting married, and we've been together 13 years. But, things happen over time, relationships change, and sometimes we fight over little things, I am a free spirit. I've gotten a lot neater over the years, but Justin grew up, his mother is very, very neat, has some kind of OCD tendencies. I'm not being colloquial here, like there's this kind of very particular neatness that is very stressful and very anxious in his family. So the idea of me leaving wet footprints everywhere and Justin weaving it into carpet, clutter causes him anxiety. It just doesn't work for him that way. I can't imagine him celebrating a mess, immortalizing it. And frankly, there have been times where he's freaked out about a small mess before, even showing it to me. And, we've had fights over chores and I felt nitpicked. It was interesting because he would say that I was the best roommate he's ever had, that I've been very neat in the grand scheme of things, but it was never quite good enough. And so we never fight about money, we fought about chores. And so when I saw the Edward James piece with the wet footprints, I was sad because I thought, well, Justin wouldn't do that for me, which is crazy, right? What does that have to do with me, right? But I felt that. But as I dug deeper into Edward James's life and marriage, I discovered that the story wasn't as perfect as it had seemed in that meme. And frankly, that actually gave me hope. So here's the thing. That surrealist work of art with his wife's footprints is cool, it's lovely, it speaks of love. It hints at an unconditional love, unbreakable love, but at the very least, infatuation. But the reality of his life with her was different. And the two of them ended up getting divorced, actually. They had a tumultuous marriage, and he accused her of cheating on him. She countered with casting aspersions about his sexuality, saying that he was gay. In fact, I believe he was bisexual. She used this as a weapon. This was a different time. Not everybody's cool with that these days. They were even less cool back then. It got ugly, it got nasty. And it really made me think about how someone who created such a poetic gesture wasn't in fact living a completely idealized version of love. And this realization shifted something within me, because if love doesn't have to be perfect to be meaningful, then maybe it's okay if ours isn't either. And one of the things that James was getting into with these wet footprints was saving something that was impermanent, making something that was fleeting into something permanent. And I think there's a good lesson here. So the whole thing got me thinking of a moment from the first year of my relationship with Justin after we got together. And it was intense. He had this bathtub at his house, at his place, with jets in it, this really nice bathtub. And this one night we were first dating, he drew up this wonderful bubble bath for me. He had candles. He had it done up beautifully in his basement. And I got down there, he drew me up this bath. He's like, babe, he took care of me. He brought me down green tea so I could drink it into the bath, and he talked to me. He doted on me while I was taking this bath. He absolutely pampered me. It was amazing. It was one of those weird movie moments where someone was completely spoiling me, right? And it was ridiculous. It was over the top in the best possible way. We'd gone out and we'd gotten the actual bath soap for that. There was another time where he did this long lingering massage on me with all these different oils, and it was all about pampering me. It wasn't anything for his own gratification. This wasn't some kind of transactional foreplay or something like that. No, this was a moment where he really spoiled me. He fussed over me, made me feel cherished. Now, I could look at something like the fights over chores, or the fact that it's been a long time since he's done such a thing, and I could say, well, relationship sucks. I could say, oh, be sad because I wish somebody would forgive my every mistake. Not only forgive them, but celebrate it. But I have the ability within me to take that memory, the bath, the massage, the dinners. There's been more things since then. It isn't constant, but there have been all these wonderful things that have happened. I can take that and I can make them permanent in my memory, like weaving the wet footprints into the rug, like James did. Because moments of connection don't have to be internal to be worth preserving. And we have that ability within ourselves. And a relationship doesn't have to be perfect. So here's a reframe. Instead of longing for perfection, celebrate the imperfect beauty of the love you have. Remember the candlelit baths, and even find a way to understand that fighting over chores is part of that. It's part of the frame. It's part of the background. It's part of the richness and the glory that a real adult relationship has. You can't have the bitter without the sweet or the sweet without the bitter, right? It's all about contrasts. Anyway, it was a powerful moment for me because even if the footprints dry, the memory of them, their shape and their meaning stay with us forever. And so can a beautiful, if imperfect, love. Anyway, it's been great talking to you as always. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.